Hello, welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play. It's probably the first time I've said that unironically. Um, what should this world be called? Minecraft. Yeah, and it's the first time I've probably said that unironically because I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna play some Minecraft. Why not? My goal for this Let's Play is to, first, I think it is to build like a base, a nice base area. Maybe make like a super smelter. Do some automated stuff probably, and then probably just get geared up, beat the game, and mess around. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but that's my ultimate goal is to just beat the game. The question is where do we set up? So I'll be looking around to see where we set up, but you know, I used to play a lot of Minecraft, but I haven't really played in a while. I know Minecraft kind of comes and goes in phases, but I used to play Minecraft like a lot. I used to play it a lot. And when I was like 12 probably is when I played a lot. I used to play it on the Xbox 360. Um and I always just had so much fun playing with my friends, but I feel like there's something about the older Minecraft like versions, uh, like alpha, beta, stuff like that, where it was very very simplistic, not much to it. There's something about those versions that were just unique. Like they were so simple and easy. You just played the game because it was fun, you know. But now I feel like it's become very task oriented, which is fine. Oh. Uh, I like. I don't mind the task oriented nature of the game, but back in the day, man, it was just about playing the game, having fun, you know, not really worrying about much. But now it's like, oh, dude, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, I gotta get this, we gotta beat the Ender Dragon, we gotta get an Elytra, and then we can play the game and do whatever you want. It's like, by the time you're done with all that, you're just kind of like, eh, what the fuck are you looking at? Um, but back then it was like, you know, it really did feel like you just played it for fun, and I feel like it's it's hard to come across games nowadays that you play them for the entire, like the sole intent of playing it is for fun. Um, I feel like it's a lot more common in the modern day of gaming, where you play things because you're trying to complete tasks or fill out battle passes, or you know you gotta play. Um, that, or they're like kind of a guided on rails experience leading you down a path. So there's not just like, oh, I get to play the game for fun. It's like, all right, you get to play the game. Might be kind of fun, but you're gonna do what I tell you to the entire time. And I don't like hate those games. I don't think they're bad games per se, but I do feel as if there's a lot of those nowadays, at least in the mainstream sense. What am I doing? I already have a craft table. Obviously, indie games are really good, and you can still have a lot of good experiences, have a lot of fun. You know, like there's tons of good indie games, and there's even good like AAA mainstream games. But I don't know. It doesn't feel the same, you know. And it's obvious that most of it comes down to just corporate greed, um, and whatnot. So can't really do anything about that. But it's always a shame to see a piece of media, an art form, kind of get reduced down into its most basic fundamentals. I feel like things just gotten too Like, I think most things just kind of, once they get gamified, they stop being special or entertaining or as engaging. They start to kind of get muddied in what made them interesting in the first place. You know, like it's happened with like music and art and video games most recently, where like it's a new art form, everyone is loving it, indulging in it, you know, and people see that and they go, you know what, that seems pretty financially successful. I wonder if we could spend less money and less time and pump out as many as possible, how much money we'll make. You know, and it's like, geez, bro. Like, and I think it's just because in the corporate kind of capitalistic mindset, um, they want to do everything with the most minimal amount of risk possible. You know, they're not as much as gamblers as you would think they are. You know, they actually tend to not like gambling because that makes them lose money. You know, they don't believe in hitting it big. They believe in scrounging every possible cent out of everything they can in the most passive way possible. So they tend to try and just make a bunch of garbage. Oh, there's a village. That's kind of what I was looking for. Oh my god. I totally forgot that they changed the baby animals. What are you? Look so weird. You have like a normal body? You're so adorable. You have a beautiful child, Mr. Roberts. Damn. That's so weird. Is there baby sheep around here? I haven't really looked at them. So this new baby mob thing is entirely new to me. The chicken looked normal, so I guess I didn't even notice it. Anyways, what was I saying? I'm kind of a tangent guy. I like going on tangents. Yeah, oh yeah, they don't want to take. Okay, I'll take that. Why not? They don't want to take risks because they don't want to lose money at all ever. You know, when it's like if they took risks more often, they would garner more worthwhile media. You know, whether it's video games, music, you know, whatever it is. But they don't want to do that because that's not the safe thing to do. That's a very risky thing to do. Right. Oh shit. Obsidian? 6 obsidian. Wow, that's I feel like that's a lot of I feel like that's a lot of obsidian from one of those, but okay. Yeah, they don't want to take risks. They don't want to make anything interesting or new. They rather just find something that works and do that over and over and over again until it's useless, until it's nothing, so that they can move on to the next thing and leech off of that next. You know, which it sucks because I feel like there's a weird phenomenon where if people were just less kind of selfish and self-motivated, they would actually get the things that they're kind of seeking out, right? Like, if they wanted a lot of money, taking those risks isn't such a big deal if the risk is really good. Holy shit, I already have enough for another portal. If the risk is really like worth it, like you just have to really be really good at a risk assessment, I guess, like knowing whether it's worth it or not to take a gamble on something. I feel like that would be a really good skill to have, you know. But they don't. They what am I trying to say? They don't really doesn't really seem like they have a clear idea of what they want. It seems like they're really disconnected from the makings of these things anyway, you know. But what they could do, that was my initial point, Jesus, is they could have lots of money because that risk that they take could get them lots of revenue. And in fact, probably tenfold the revenue that they would garner if they just, you know, mashed out a bunch of garbage, you know. Like at some point they would actually hit it big and they would make a lot of money. And not only would they make a lot of money, but people would like them a lot, you know? So I don't really understand this whole just McDonald'sing kind of everything. It just kind of sucks because I feel like it's kind of counterintuitive if you want you know, a lot of success or a lot of money. You know, it's kind of even down to like a very basic level. Um Even down to a very basic level, people are who are selfish tend to do things that are self-serving almost to their own detriment. Like it's almost counterintuitive for them, it seems, to be selfish because you can get the things that you want without being scummy. You know, like if if uh if let's say like a guy, right? Let's say like let me find an example really quick. Where are the villagers, man? I need them for my examples. There you are. Like let's say like this guy right here has like a diamond block or something, right? Now if I'm a selfish person or like a like a narcissistic person or whatever therapy word you want to throw, like it seems that the options that I would have is to like manipulate them or gaslight them. Like, no, that's my diamond block. That's my grandmother's. That's my great grandma's diamond block. Why do you have my great grandma's diamond block? And then just like harass them and bully them until they give it to me, right? When it's like instead, if you wanted the diamond block, you know, you could just be friends with them, right? And then they think, oh yeah, be friends with them so you could steal it from them like a little scummy guy, like a scumbag. And it's like, no, if you're just like friends with them, you might not get the diamond block, but you might get something equally as important to them or to you. And that might be worth more than anything, you know? And so even if you want the diamond block, what if you have some gold? And what if because you're the only guy who's not trying to steal his diamond block, you know, by trying to manipulate or gaslight him, he's like, you know what, here's some gold. You know what I mean? It seems like the things that these people always try to go out of their way to get at all costs tends to be very counterintuitive and backfire because then that person's not going to like you and that word is going to spread like an infection through people and people are going to have a general disposition against you where they're not going to really they're not going to like you. They might interact with you for fun, but they're not going to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, that guy? Love that guy." And you think that guy, "Oh, he's a fucking asshole. He stole my buddy Jared's diamond block. He just ripped it from him." It's like a terrible thing, like an awful thing to do. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh, wow. I didn't know that about him." You know, he was just trying to talk to me about how awesome my diamond block was. You know, and then now you have an alliance formed against you. Everyone doesn't like you, and I just feel like then you just have to start like those people. They just tend to start lying, start telling themselves lies, and trying to you know, just make stuff up. And then now they're lying to themselves. You know, now they're delusional. They don't really know what they're really doing. You know, they don't even know what the truth is for themselves. They're just blindly kind of following whatever they've been like they're just running on instincts now, you know. When I just feel like it's a much easier for most people and pretty much everyone to Just be a more genuine and authentic, and bring people near you, and you'll pretty much get whatever you want, you know? Like if you're being as selfish as possible, like even then, just being nice and caring about people, like you'll get what you want. There's no reason to pry or poke or prod, you know? You just kind of be nice, and people will be like, "Hey, you want this?" And you go, "Sure." You know, like I had also, I think up here is really cool. I think I might set up a base up here somewhere. But I had a friend who used to kind of be like that. One of those people needed to who seemed like they needed to kind of manipulate or move things around to kind of get their way. Um and 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't really get it. Or even if they did get it, everyone would be mad at them or upset with them, or feel some sort of negative way about them. And every time I just looked at it like, why? Why? And I mean, this guy was also, he was kind of like that with the ladies, where instead of just like being friends with them, hanging out with them, enjoying their company, and then if you like them, they like you, then it works. They like want to skip all those steps and just like they find, like they would find someone who's in a relationship, right? And let's say it's not like a great one, right? Like maybe the guy's kind of a piece of shit, right? Sure. And they see that and they go, wow, you shouldn't be with them. They're bad for you. And it's like, well, that may be true. And maybe they might realize that. But then he would say something like, I would be so much better, and then it's like, oh, okay. So you don't actually care about this person. You don't actually care about how they feel. You don't think to yourself like, wow, like they're in a really bad relationship. They should get out of that for their own sake. You don't care. You just want to get in their pants, right? At least that's the obvious assumption, is that they want something superficial and disingenuous. They don't really care. And it's like, that just seems like if I'm trying to be logical as possible, it just seems like that's a very illogical thing to do, to just sit there and make an ass of yourself like that. Because sometimes people aren't as privy to those tactics, so they can very easily fall into like, wait, maybe this guy will be better for me. Maybe he will be my savior. And it's, I don't know. It just feels odd, and it feels terrible. And I guess it's because it's manipulative, It's because, like, what happens if you do get together? Are you guys gonna date? Like, how's that foundation gonna be when it was based off of you telling her to get out of the relationship and to get with you? I mean, what if some other guy does that and pulls her? And it works for guys and girls. You could vice versa the rules. It wouldn't really change anything. It's still applicable. But I don't know. It's just odd. It's odd. It's an odd environment, the world and people and stuff like that. Look at me, sounding like a pretentious guy who knows a lot. But I just find it interesting. I find it, like, human behavior very interesting. Um, and I find it interesting because maybe it'll better help myself understand my human behavior. Because, I'm sure that I can be weird or a weirdo, like everyone else can be. And I think it's a good brain exercise to be thinking about stuff like that. Um, because I feel like it kind of evolves your brain to go, like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to try actively to not be like that, But maybe you have to be cognizant of it. You have to be like a lot like self-aware enough to really understand whether or not you're doing something wrong or not, or if what you're doing is weird or not. Because there's plenty of things that I'm sure I do that I don't even know if it's weird. I'd have to rely on other people's word and and whatnot. And it's not like there's a problem necessarily with being weird. I don't mean weird as in like different or odd or unique or whatever it is. I just mean weird as in just not a nice guy, you know, or not a nice person who, you know. And it's like I don't want to put up like this nice front either, because I can be very negative. I can be mean. I can be imperfect. But it's like I'm just trying to understand more, so I'm less like that, because being negative and being mean and being cynical and being critical, it just feels bad. You know, after a while, it just starts to feel bad, and you start to think a lot, and you start to realize that thinking kind of sucks. You know? Because it does. That shit sucks. Because, like, think about it. When it was, well, I know it's kind of ironic for me to tell you to think about it, but, like, when you're a kid, you're not really thinking all that much. Like, obviously you're thinking, but you're not really thinking all that much. You know, you do stupid stuff, you get crazy, you don't really think things through, you get a little silly, you do some dumb things, you know, and it's whatever, though, because you're a kid, and that's expected. And I feel like that's why everyone likes being a kid, because when you're a kid, you can do whatever you want. Pretty much. You can almost do whatever you want. Like, obviously there's rules and there's lines, there's limits, but for the most part, you could pretty much do whatever. It is getting dark. I should probably sleep before the monsters get out and start attacking me while I'm trying to set up a base. Excuse me, sir. How'd you even get here, bro? Oh no, are you burning to death? What are you gonna do about the... Oh shit. He walked around it. He just walked around it. This guy's a genius. What now? What now? Oh yeah? Oh, stupid idiot. I can't believe he thought he could. Can't believe he thought he could. What did you get when you tussle with the muscle? Anyways, what was I talking about? I was probably talking too much. I don't know. I was told that I was very... Oh god. I just reloaded my shaders. I was told that I was very obnoxious. And I have a hard time shutting my mouth, so I thought I might as well put it to good use by doing this. It's kind of why I'm running around playing Minecraft, talking about shit that I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know. It's not like anyone will see this anyway. It's not a big deal. Except for, like, maybe 4 people. But hey, if there are 4 people who are watching this and you got this far, what is something... What is the most interesting experience you've had dealing with someone who's just like an asshole? You know, and I don't want any, like, r/everyone clapped stories. It can be boring. It can be lame. Don't try to stand out. Don't try to get likes. Just say, like, yeah, this guy was a meanie head, you know? Whether it was at school or, like, I don't know, maybe at, like, a fast food restaurant. I feel like people are just mean in fast food restaurants. Or I guess entitled is probably the better word. You know, people do stuff in fast food restaurants I literally wouldn't even dream of. I would have a heart attack just thinking about it. You know? Like, if just someone's being... Especially just, like, harassing the employees of, like, a fast food. It just seems so... Such, like, a low thing to do. Because... Like, maybe back in, like, the 60s when you could make bank kind of working at a restaurant off tips. It was, like, whatever. Because they're getting paid fairly well for the time. It's not great, obviously. I don't think it was, like, okay to just harass waitresses or workers or anything like that. But at least back then it was worth it for the workers. Because they're like, well, you know, I can make a good amount of money off this. So it's not a big deal. But nowadays, it's people do it just to live, just to exist. You know, like most of these guys are just trying to exist, and people are like, "Wow, fast food workers are yada yada yada," and it's like, well, you have to think about it, right? Like, they're doing what they have to just to go from one day to the next. Right? They're just trying their best to earn a living. for the time being. You know, a lot of them are in transitional spaces too. It's not like, you know, most of them think that fast food's like necessarily a career for them. Unless they do and they're trying to climb up the ladder. That's, you know, a different story though. But most of them that work there, they're just like college students, high school students. They're just trying to get a little money for gas so they can make it to school or make it to, you know, whatever it is that they want to do. You know, so I think it's odd to we're gonna make a pink house because why not? To just make those lives the lives of those people hell is just really odd, especially because it stems from it seems to stem from this idea that because these guys have had a harder life, like let's say like a guy like let's make like a caricature of like a guy like an older guy who's like 40 years old or something, and he's all leathered and withered, and he's like, because he feels like he's had a really difficult life, he feels as if he can harass these people or talk down to them because they have it much easier. You know, like all these Gen Zers and these Gen Alphas, they don't understand how hard it's been for my generation. Like that type of attitude. And it's like, yeah, but you probably didn't have as many people harassing you at your job. You know, like I don't think you have as many people harassing you at your job and saying that what you're doing is shit. Or maybe that's why they're kind of lashing out and picking on teenagers, is because maybe at their job they do. Maybe they do get picked on. Maybe they do get bullied by upper management or something. And they're like, God, this is so stupid. I can't believe it. Time to go yell at Taco Bell employees. Time to go get a Baja Blast Mountain Dew and complain about getting a Baja Blast Mountain Dew when I wanted a diet one, even though I didn't say it was a diet one. You know, that type of stuff. But I don't know. It's odd. It's difficult to maneuver too when you're in that position, because it's like you can't really be mean to them. Can't tell them off, otherwise they'll get fired, you know, or written up or whatever. You'll get punished for it. You get punished for standing up for yourself because it could cost money, you know. Rather than making it clear that that type of behavior isn't tolerated, it's almost encouraged because those people get protected. You know, they're told like actually I am right and I am being reasonable and I am being sane. So it's like, okay, can't really do anything about that, you know, and that sucks. Is that emerald? Holy frick, Lois, that's emerald. I need stone. What am I doing? Oh, it's all the flowers I flew. I'm just gonna, or flew. Through. Haha. I didn't flew them, I threw them. I need some stone. Yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna set up the house once I get kind of a shack built. I think that's gonna be the end of this little episode, because running out of time. 30 minutes of talking. And it was so hard. It was so hard to sit here for 30 minutes and just talk and talk and talk about useless stuff. I don't know. It could be useless. I guess it depends on the perspective. Let me know if you think it's useless. Let me know if you think this is the worst Minecraft Let's Play you've ever watched. I will be sure to take note and try and change it up if you have any tips or tricks. If anyone's even watching this. Because honestly, I feel like there might be like 3 people who watch it, and none of them will get this far. But, you know, it is what it is. I guess you gotta start somewhere. What the fuck did you just say to me? Did you just goop in there, dude? Ew! Ew, you disgust me. Oh my god! He just got it fucking pregnant. Whoa, he just came out. I was gonna block you in there. I hear you sliming around in there. You guys are gross, bro. Get a room. Anyway. I'm gonna dig out the rest of this base. Probably set up a little platform. And then the platform we'll probably have to do for now. I'll probably sleep, and then... Trust me, once this house gets built, it's gonna be nothing but cooking from here on out, dude. We're gonna be flying through this game like it's no problem. We're gonna be cruising. We're gonna be going 150 down the highway in oncoming traffic. Dodging and weaving. That's how fast we're gonna be going. You know, we're gonna make speedrunners look like, I'm gonna make it look like I'm using a TAS. A tool-assisted speed... If you didn't know what that was. I'm sure you probably do. But I want to look like a TAS compared to the best... Fuck! To the best speedrunners. You know, I'm gonna blow them out of the water, surely. There's a lot of creatures under me. Maybe building up here was a bad idea. No, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine. Don't second guess. Just double down, overcommit. Because I can always just get torches and light up the cavern so I don't have to hear the clanking of the skeletons making love with each other. Because that's what it sounds like they're doing. You think that's what they're doing? You think that's why their bones are clanking around all the time, going ba-ding, 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 ba-ding? Probably not, because this is a kid's game, so they probably wouldn't be doing that. I'm sure there's mods for it though. Never mind. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about Minecraft NSFW mods. That sounds horrible. You know, and that makes me think of the other hand, where it's like, you know, being nice and helping people's awesome, but it's also just a fucking nightmare hellscape world we live in, isn't it? But it is what it is. It really is how it be. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Break the rest, break the rest. I definitely need to get coal. I need to make torches so I can stop insta-sleeping, and also need to make tools, probably, like, not tools, but weapons, so I can defend myself, so I also, again, don't have to insta-sleep. I do have armor, so it's not, like, the biggest deal in the world, but... Okay, let me just, fill out the rest of this base, and... we'll, be good to go. We're gonna have a pink, Barbie house, I guess, just because there's a lot of cherry blossom wood up here. And I probably built with this wood the least. Because usually I'm building with, you know, the classics like oak or dark oak. Occasionally spruce. But I'm not really a builder, to be honest. I've never really been the builder guy. I kind of have always been more geared towards automation. Not really making machines or anything like super crazy cool, but like I like making farms and whatnot. That's my flavor of autism, as they put it, as I've heard somewhere. Because a lot of my friends, they're builders. They make really, really beautiful builds. And I look at that and I go, wow, that really puts my square oak plank shack to shame. You know, but the humble oak shack serves its purpose very well. Provides me everything I need. Provides me shelter, provides me a place to put my bed and my chests and whatnot. But I was thinking about maybe making a better... about building better, making something cool, right? Even though I'm really bad at it. Trying to make a cool base. It's probably going to be like a C tier at best, but I'm used to making F tier builds, so that will help me a lot. I'm sure a lot of you are probably also frustrated by the way I play this game. Or you probably will be if you watch this enough. You'll see that I'm very disorganized in my chests and that I'm very lazy with how I do stuff. Just kind of throw it down and call it a day. But I'm going to try and change that. I'm going to try and be a little bit more organized, you know, to please your eyeballs a little bit more. So if anyone does start watching this, they don't start tweaking out about my chest management, because they'll probably lose their minds. And this is probably frustrating to watch too. Look at me. Instead of just building up one, I'm just gonna jump at it over and over again. Should probably be enough, right? Surely. How much is left? Maybe just one more. One more little blossom tree, and I should be good to roll. Do they have baby bunnies too? Do the baby bunnies look any different? That's my question. Maybe I'll look it up. If I don't find any. Or I'll just wait and keep playing the game and find them all. Maybe that'll be another one of my goals. Find all the new baby animals and critique them, rank them 1 out of 10. What do you think? Should I do that? Should I rank all the baby animals as I find them? Not look them up and not try to see what they look like. So it's a surprise for me every time. Because that pig totally threw me off. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's a pig? Doesn't look like the pigs I know and love. Baby pigs I know and love and remember. You know, I do feel like it's odd. I feel like they're kind of taking a lot of the charisma out of the game in a sense by kind of making things look more realistic, or at least make more sense. Because I feel like the babies were kind of iconic, you know, small bodies, big ass head, big ass head. But I don't know. I'm not a dev. I'm not a Minecraft savant or something. So it's probably fine. I'm sure most people don't really care because it's very inconsequential. It doesn't really change all that much. It's just like, oh, well, that's different now. Kind of like how the cobblestone textures, all the classic textures were changed. You know, not a big deal. All right, well, now we got a base. Not an actual base, but the base of a base. Down. I think that's a good spot to call it for now. So go to F5. Oh my god, I look scary. What even skin do I have on? I don't even know. I covered in blood or something? Oh, I'm a bloody troll face. Huh. Well, stop. That's good to know. Well, anyways, I'm not gonna do this F5 thing and be like, well, I'll see you in the next one. Even though I just kind of did that anyway. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one if anyone watches. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll do it anyway. I get crashed. I think Are you fucking serious? Did my game crash? Yeah, it crashed. Well, I guess that was the universe telling me to shut the fuck up and actually stop playing Minecraft. So, have a good one. You might, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking to no